Back to President Obama's attack on Donald Trump's ban on Muslims and some other GOP positions in a moment. But first, I want to go and update you guys on this breaking news. The Russian government hackers, they penetrated the DNC computer network. They gained access to all kinds of information, particularly on Donald Trump, the ethical hacker, and Professor Tim Summers. Tim, you wonder this in this day and age, how an organization like the DNC could be this vulnerable, and then, of course, it feels like the Russian hackers have gotten in, took all the information they've wanted, and they've already departed.
Right. Charles, this is a common occurrence. These hackers, they work for the intelligence community in Russia. They're very skilled, and Donald Trump is a new candidate. He's a new player, so they have to collect as much data as they can. And by the looks of this, they collected a lot.
You're right. Listen, there's also reports that they were snooping around in other areas, but they were able to penetrate the DNC's computer network. And I've talked to expert after expert, and it almost boils down to whether it's government organizations or private companies not wanting to spend the necessary money and leaving vulnerable and valuable information out there for to be stolen.
That's exactly right. And we're seeing this all over the place, right? This isn't the first time that the DNC's been hit. It's not going to be the last time. And one of the things that we really need to think about here is that when groups like these guys, like the intelligence groups over in Russia, and it's not just them, we're also seeing groups like ISIS, for example, also use their cyber capabilities to collect information on American civilians. Donald Trump just happens to be an incredibly notable American civilian. But in this case, we're seeing that hackers are being utilized in the political space and in the terrorist space.
What about the notion that these governments, Russia and China in particular, have these hackers? They either work directly for them or indirectly for them. When the Chinese premier was here, he said he would pull back somewhat on this, a tacit admission that they are, just running roughshod over our systems. Is there some sort of diplomatic angle here that we can use, perhaps, to sort of curb this stuff?
It's fair space. I mean, in cyberspace, it's fair game, man. I mean, we're seeing basically hackers we've got, for example, one of the biggest breaches in American history, the LinkedIn breach. This was 117 million records. And basically, this ended up on the dark web. In fact, I just looked at the hacker that was selling it yesterday before I came on here. And he was basically selling it for less than it cost to buy a new laptop. You're talking 117 million records on 117 million people. That's a lot of data. And this is being used in lots of different political spheres. This data on Donald Trump, I suspect that we're going to see that the intelligence group that's involved with this in Russia, they're going to use this to understand Donald Trump's foreign dealings. They're going to try to understand his negotiation tactics. They're going to try to understand what kind of a president would he make. And that's really what we're seeing here.
Tim, they probably could have just bought a copy of The Art of the Deal, but be that as it may, they got the info anyway. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.